Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it is April 24th of 2023. Let me see here. I moved the camera off of the monitor. Well, I guess I'm not really into, well, I'm into news. I always have been, big time, even when I was in grade school, politics and stuff. I've mentioned this before. I don't think you probably believe me because I guess it's kind of weird. Back when we had cable channels coming in, we cut the cord. We cut the cord a long time ago. But I would watch Fox News occasionally. Mainly I watch, CNN and things like that. I'm getting a flickering on the screen. I'm not sure if that's going to appear in this video or not. Anyway, I'd watch Fox News. I'd go to redstate.com, which was a right-wing site, very much right-wing. They've been under different ownerships, so it varied about their craziness. But I'd go just to check out, both sides. And of course, eventually, well, we cut the cable and, we're not bringing in all those channels, although, of course, with the internet, of course, we pay for, like, movie, Netflix and Hulu and all that stuff. We pay for that. But I almost never go to Fox News now, and if I do, it's just to see the front page or something, to see if they're mentioning something, how they're reporting it, if they're reporting it. For those maybe those of you outside of the United States, well, even though for those of you inside the United States, Fox News has been a very popular channel and making good money. And of course, they've been lying to their people forever and putting on fictitious stuff, actually fake news. That's something that they, I think, came up with it. That CNN and others were fake news, and actually they were the fake news site. But Tucker Carlson is one of, I think it's been 17 years, I forget how many years, he's been with, or was with Fox News, and their most popular person on their channel, and maybe the most popular person doing that kind of a show, period. Even CNN, I don't think, could compete with him. So Tucker Carlson has he's been like their #1 man. And today, Monday, his last show, I'm not sure that he knew it was his last show. Maybe he did. I don't think so. Because apparently on Friday, he didn't say anything that indicate that it was. So it must have been like, okay, that's it. And then they must have said, could you step into the office? Yeah. We no longer need your services. Here's your money, and here's whatever else they were, hey, we're giving you this, you be nice and don't say anything bad about, and goodbye. We don't want to see you again. and that was it. So today, there was a very short announcement made. I mean, very short, no details, and that Tucker Carlson no longer, would be on Fox News, and that was it. And they, very short, no details, and then they didn't, they didn't say, we love you, we'll always love you. They didn't say, you're always welcome to come by or whatever. It was like, you know, you know. So I wonder if there's going to be any more that are, going to bite the dust. Of course, now he'll probably do a book, and he'll bring out what he thinks, where he's a hero or something or other, he'll probably do a book. Probably a bunch of other people do books. Probably be some more of these people going. So, these Fox News people, they remind me of like Radio Moscow and Radio Peking, and back in, the old days. I used to listen to all those. Radio Moscow you could get information from Radio Moscow, but you didn't know, depending on what it was. Radio Peking, you couldn't get much information from them. What was interesting was like Radio Prague from Czechoslovakia. They had great broadcasts. They give away postage stamps. I think they're the ones that sent out like a calendar that was on a piece of cloth or material. They'd send that once a year to each of their fans or whatever. But they played good music, and they were, they weren't. So where Radio Moscow would, they couldn't, it'd be like, they'd talk about the American War Department, which, by the way, a long time ago, that's what the Department of Defense was actually called. It was called, the War Department. And then some people at some point, we better stop calling it the War Department, But anyway, Radio Prague was really nice, and some of the others, satellite nations, their communist broadcasts were. But I can remember during one of my shortwave radio days, I remember listening to Radio Moscow when the first Sputnik went up, and all kinds of things. I forget which pope it was that died. It was on the news, that Pope so-and-so just died. The Vatican has announced. And I tuned in my shortwave radio to the Vatican radio, broadcasting on shortwave radio. And I can't remember now the interval signal they used. Bells of the Vatican or something. And then they would... I was an altar boy once, but I don't remember any Latin. In fact, I think I only knew one word when I was an altar boy. Benedicite, because I held the incense thing, and at the Mass, I'd go to the priest, and then he would, and I'd say Benedicite, blessed or whatever, But anyway, I remember tuning in on shortwave radio to the Vatican when the Pope died, and then, they did their interval signal, and then they announced, whatever it was in Latin, and then they said, Pope so-and-so, however they said it. And I can remember, getting like a chill, up my spine or whatever, it affected me that way. So I wonder how many Fox News viewers are anyway. Back over here, I don't see this jumping anymore. Oh, there it is. At least it's jumping on my screen, so I guess it's jumping on your screen too. So I won't stick around because I need to go in here and adjust it or something or other, so I won't subject you to that. This is being, recorded with Manicam. I'm going to go back to that screen is jumping to my computer, my other computer over there. I'm having trouble getting the microphone audio to work on that. It's running, let's see, this is Windows 11. That's running Windows 10. That's a Dell computer. So I need to mess with that some more. By the way, we got a food order in today. The ex-wife, Darlene, she takes care of all the ordering because I hate doing that kind of stuff. And she likes it. And, oops, gotta hook up my printer here. It's disconnected. Anyway, she's into this carb diet thing big time. Oh, God. And, but she does all the ordering. Of course, she asks, like, what do I want? And I think most of the time, she orders, if I say I want something, usually she orders it. But today, hours ago, last night, I just made up an order for about $100 of stuff that I basically wanted. Of course, they're welcome to anything, I ordered a bunch of TV-type dinners and a couple things of cheese that I like, and a thing of orange juice and that kind of stuff. So that came in. So the refrigerator and the freezer and everything is pretty much filled up. I've got a small refrigerator here in my office bedroom. There is the refrigerator with the safe that I ordered on top of it. Oops. I wish I'd have got, and it was within the price range. I mean, I wish I'd have ordered a regular refrigerator, with a small freezer at the top and everything, rather than that. Many, many years ago, a bunch of years ago, I was working hospital security at a small hospital, and I'm not sure if I already had one or if I think I bought one brand new, and I put it in the security office at the hospital. And there was just two of us that worked out there. And so it was there I worked there about 8 years, I think. And then they yanked me out of there. And then I went back about 2 years later, I think it was, and worked for like 1 year. And but when I left, I left the refrigerator. Just same, I put a computer in there. Of course, eventually we got a computer, hospital computer eventually after years, but I took the other security officer played solitary on it. If somebody would come out to relieve us for vacation or, whatever, then they'd use the computer too, of course, to play solitaire or whatever. And I left the computer when I left there. I doubt it's still there. And what else did I order? Oh, a scanner. When I went out there, I had a scanner. I had more than one scanner. For picking up police calls and all that kind of stuff. I put that there. And Then I bought an antenna for the scanner, and then I asked the plant operations guys to install it up on the roof of the hospital. Small hospital, by the way. I mean, they weren't climbing up, and they put it up there. I mean, they agreed to do it, and when I left the hospital, of course, I left that also. So I have been a river unto my people. That's from a movie. I guess I'll have to mess with this a little bit here. And then I need to get over there and figure out the problem with my microphone situation. I've got a whole bunch, because I've got a whole bunch of stuff. I've got various cameras I can try, various microphones, and all kinds of stuff. Like I said, this is running Windows 11. It's on the B-Link Mini, which is working good for me. And I really like the $200 Dell computer that's running Windows 10. I'm not sure if it'll ever run Windows 11, but I'm happy with Windows 10. Oh, I did order in, by the way, the other day, a $120 Linux mini computer or whatever. And I mentioned that. I hooked it up, and then it all came back to me. No, after, everybody's talking about, the latest version of Ubuntu or something, how great it is. And, it fired up, of course, and I thought, no, this is just, it's the same. It's the same. I mean, everything is just the same. I mean, it looks different. They've made improvements, but I don't want to go through that again. So, by the way, in case nobody says anything, this up here, that's a naked lady, by the way. I haven't mentioned anything about it because it's from when I was in Kansas City, Missouri. And it's from the famous Missouri painter or whatever. And I can't remember his name. And I should be, because he's, from Missouri. He's, I mean, maybe they haven't heard about, I'm sure they have, but maybe they haven't heard about him in Paris at the Louvre. Kind of sounds like a toilet. But for Missouri in the Midwest or whatever, can't remember his name now. Down here is blood pressure chart. I hardly ever take my blood pressure. And up at the top, I don't know if you can, this one here says warning protected by Pinkerton. This other one over here says warning protected by the William J. Burns International Detective Agency. For years when I was working hospital security or whatever, I worked part-time for a contract guard agency. So I'd work full-time at the hospital security and then part-time for Burns, Pinkerton, Wells Fargo, whatever. Those little tiny signs, but I bought those off of eBay, of course. I didn't steal them from where I was, I didn't go out on the fence and take them off the fence or something. I've got a Missouri, I think, first day cover up here. I used to collect postage stamps a little bit, and first day covers a little bit. I moved so much, though, I just had to get rid of, I've moved quite a few times. I'm sure there's a lot of people that move more than I have, especially if you're in, like, say, the military or something like that. I'm sure you moved a lot. Anyway, what time is it? 20 minutes. I'm going to bring this to a conclusion, and then I'm going to mess with this a little bit and see if I can figure out what I did wrong. I think this will be easy to correct. And then I got to go over there and, although the bed is looking, well, I got a bunch of stuff on the bed. Let's see here. Yeah, you can see some of the stuff on the bed. So, I'm going to take care of business here. I'm going to go open up the refrigerator and see what all I've got to eat since I placed an order. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.